The rain had started early that morning, a steady drizzle that made the streets glisten and the air smell faintly of earth and wet leaves. Emily had been staring at her laptop screen for hours, pretending to work, but really just watching the clock. Her mind wasn't on spreadsheets or deadlines. It was on William. They had been engaged for 6 months, and every day since his proposal had been wrapped in a quiet, glowing kind of happiness. William wasn't just handsome, though he was that, with his sharp jawline and the way his dark hair always seemed just a little tousled. He was the kind of man who remembered the small things. The way she took her coffee, the song she hummed when she was happy, the fact that she loved thunderstorms. They had met 3 years ago at a friend's dinner party, and from the moment he'd smiled at her across the table, she had felt something click inside her. And then there was Amelia. Amelia had been Emily's best friend since they were teenagers, bound together by secrets and laughter, and the kind of loyalty Emily thought was unshakable. Amelia was bold where Emily was careful, impulsive where Emily was deliberate. They had survived first heartbreaks, college chaos, and the slow, messy process of becoming adults. Amelia had even been the first person Emily told when William proposed, squealing into the phone so loudly Emily had to hold it away from her ear. It had been Amelia's idea to help with the wedding planning, to pick flowers together, to go cake tasting on weekends. Emily had never doubted for a moment that Amelia was as excited for her as she was herself. That afternoon, a sudden craving for William's favorite lemon pastries had Emily leaving work early. She had been planning to surprise him at his apartment with the pastries and maybe a bottle of wine. The bakery was only a few blocks from his place, and she hummed to herself as she walked, picturing the way his eyes would light up when he opened the door. She didn't text ahead. The whole point was the surprise. The hallway of his building was quiet, the faint smell of someone cooking garlic drifting from one of the nearby apartments. She balanced the pastry box in one hand as she fished out the spare key he'd given her months ago. The lock clicked easily. She stepped inside. At first, she noticed the music, soft, something jazzy playing from his speakers. Then the laughter. A woman's laughter. Emily's smile faltered for just a second before she reminded herself that William had friends too, and Amelia often dropped by to see them both. But when she rounded the corner into the living room, the world seemed to tilt. William was there, standing near the couch. Amelia was with him. Their bodies were close, too close, and Amelia's hand was resting lightly on his chest. Emily froze. In the space of a breath, she saw Amelia tilt her head up, saw William lean down, and saw their lips meet. It wasn't long, no movie-style, drawn-out kiss, but it was enough. Enough to splinter something inside her. Her voice came out sharper than she intended. "What the hell is going on?" They sprang apart as if burned. Amelia's eyes widened, her lips parted, but no sound came out. William looked as if someone had punched the air from his lungs. "Emily," he started, stepping forward, but she took a step back. The pastry box trembled in her hands, and she set it down on the coffee table with deliberate care, as if placing it gently could keep her from breaking. This isn't," Amelia stammered, her voice thin. "It's not what it looks like." Emily let out a short, bitter laugh. "It looks like you were kissing my fiancé. That's what it looks like." William ran a hand through his hair, his eyes locking on hers, pleading. "It wasn't planned. It just happened." "Just happened?" Emily's voice cracked, the betrayal curling around her like a vice. "You just happened to kiss my best friend?" Amelia stepped forward, reaching for her arm, but Emily pulled back. "Emily, please."
"It's not like that."
You what?" Emily's tone was ice now. "You tripped and fell into his mouth?" The silence that followed was thick, the rain outside a soft hiss against the windows. William's gaze dropped to the floor. "We've been confused," he said quietly. The word lodged in Emily's chest like a stone. She didn't want to hear more. She couldn't. Her hands shook as she grabbed her coat from the back of the chair. "I can't do this right now," she said, her voice low but steady. She walked out before either of them could say another word. The cold air hit her like a slap, sharp and clean. She didn't know where she was going, just away. Away from the image of them together, away from the ache clawing at her ribs. She wandered for blocks, the city blurring past in streaks of light and shadow, until she found herself at the small park where she and William had first said, "I love you." She sat on a bench, the rain dampening her hair, her coat, everything, and tried to breathe. Memories assaulted her. William holding her hand in this very spot, Amelia laughing with her over midnight ice cream runs, the three of them sitting around a table at her last birthday. She didn't know how long she sat there before her phone buzzed. William. She ignored it. Then Amelia. Then William again. She finally turned the phone off and sat in the quiet, the only sound the rain pattering on the leaves above. That night, sleep didn't come. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling, her mind replaying the moment over and over, as if changing one detail in her imagination might undo it. She thought about calling someone else, her sister, maybe, but the thought of saying it out loud made it too real. In the days that followed, William tried to reach her. Flowers arrived at her door. Handwritten letters slipped under the frame. Amelia left voicemails that started tearful and ended in silence. Emily didn't respond to either of them. A week later, she agreed to meet William, if only to hear the truth without the walls between them. They met at a quiet cafe far from his apartment. He looked tired, shadows under his eyes, his hair unkempt. "Emily," he said, sitting down across from her, "I need you to believe me when I say I love you." She didn't reply, waiting. He took a breath. "Amelia and we were talking about the wedding. She said some things, made me think about us. She kissed me." I kissed her back for a second before I realized what I was doing. It was a mistake. Emily swallowed hard. "A mistake you made with my best friend." He flinched. "Yes. And I regret it every second. I don't want her. I want you." The words should have meant something, but they felt hollow now. She wondered if love could survive a moment like that, if trust could be rebuilt from splinters. Amelia reached out a few days later, asking for one chance to explain. Against her better judgment, Emily agreed to meet at their favorite park bench. Amelia was already there when she arrived, her hands twisting in her lap. "I'm sorry," she began, tears in her eyes. "I was jealous. Not because I wanted him, because I felt like I was losing you. And then that day, I don't know, I crossed a line. I can't take it back, but I need you to know it wasn't about him. It was about me being selfish and stupid." Emily studied her, the girl she had grown up with, the friend who had been there through everything. She believed she meant the apology. But belief didn't erase the image burned into her memory. Forgiveness, if it came at all, would take time. In the weeks that followed, Emily kept her distance from both of them. She walked in the rain a lot, letting the cold sting her cheeks, trying to figure out if her heart could find its way back to William, if her friendship with Amelia could ever feel safe again. One evening, she returned to the park where it had all begun and ended. The air was crisp, the sky streaked with the pink of a fading sunset. She sat on the bench, alone, and realized something that surprised her. She wasn't crying. The ache was still there, but it was quieter now, like a wound beginning to heal. She didn't know what the future held, whether love or friendship could be repaired. But she knew she deserved honesty, and she knew she would never again ignore the small silences that sometimes speak louder than words. And as the city lights blinked on one by one, she sat in the stillness, feeling the weight of the past lift just enough for her to breathe.